Hello students, hope you are safe and healthy. Welcome to my channel. My name is Priya Khan and today I'll be discussing with you Geography Chapter 1. So let's get started. You know what exactly utility is? Well, it refers to something that is usable, profitable or beneficial in some way. So, if any object or a substance is usable, profitable or beneficial for us, then it becomes a resource. That brings me to the topic of this video, resources. Resources are everywhere around us, from the smallest needle to the most lavish car. If a thing has utility, it is a resource. When we started off just a while back, I told you that anything become a resources because it is usable, profitable or beneficial for the one using it. But how does something become a resource? Well, things become resource only when they have a value. Now, what value refers to here is the worth of a product and it depends upon the use and utility of a resource. Let me tell you for a fact that all resources have some value. It may be large or small, but everything is worth something. Some resources have economic value, some do not. For example, metal may have an economic value, but a beautiful landscape may not. But both are important and satisfying human needs. Some resources can be economically valuable with time. For instance, your grandmother's simplest effective home remedies for cold. It may not be a thing to be sold in the marketplace, but it is a remedy that is known to the entire family and is used to. It is something of personal value to you. But what if the pharmaceutical company, through research and development, develops the same medicine and sell it in the market for profit and patent the remedy? Let me explain what a patent is. Well, a patent means having an exclusive right over any idea or invention. Companies file patent all the time. Well, there are rules in place that allow companies to hold a patent for a certain number of years depending upon the domain. So, coming back to the example of the remedy, if that remedy is patented and sold by a medicine firm, it could become economically valuable. So, you see, something that your grandmother had known for ages could suddenly gain economic value over a time. So, time and technology are two important factors that can change substances into resources, and both are related to the need of the people. In fact, people themselves are the most important resource. And you know why? Because it is their ideas, knowledge, invention, and discoveries that lead to the creation of more resource, and each discoveries and invention leads to many other. Is there a chain reaction? For example, the discovery of fire lead to the practice of cooking and other processes, while many mode of transport developed with the invention of the wheel. And you may have heard about hydroelectricity as well. The technology to create hydroelectricity has turned energy available from fast flowing water into an important resource. So, theory that time and technology change substance into resource stands very true. Now, the resource can be classified into three main types: natural, man made or human made, human resource. Let us now understand each of them in detail. Starting with the basic, let us begin with the natural resources. Resources that are drawn from nature and used without much modification are called natural resources. For example, the air we breathe, the water in our rivers and lakes, soils, minerals are all natural resources. Now, all these resources are free gifts of nature and can be used directly. But in some cases, a natural resources cannot be used in its natural form, and to use it to the best possible way, tools and technologies will be needed to alter and make it more useful. Natural resources can be further classified into different groups depending on their level of development and use, origin, stock, and distribution. Based on their development and use, natural resources can again be classified into two groups, that is, actual resource and potential resource. Now, actual resource are those resources whose quantity is known and these resources are being used in the present, like the rich deposit of coal in Ruhr region of Germany and petroleum in the West Asia, the dark soil of the Deccan Plateau in Maharashtra are all actual resources. On the other hand, potential resources are those resources whose entire quantity may not be known and these are not being used at present, but these resources could be used in the future. For example, the level of technology that we have at present may not be advanced enough to easily utilize this resource, but it could develop by leaps and bounds, and a currently unusable resource may become usable. Take the example of uranium found in Ladakh. It is potential resource that could be used in the future with the help of improved technology. Consider the example of high-speed winds. 200 years ago, this was a potential resource, but today they are an actual resource and wind farms generate energy using windmills like in Netherlands. Now, in India, wind farms are located in Nagercoil in Tamil Nadu and on the Gujarat coast. Based on the second factor of their origin, natural resources can be classified as abiotic and biotic. Abiotic resources are non-living like soil, rocks, and minerals, and biotic resources are living organisms like plants and animals. The third way of classifying natural resources is based on the stock available for use. Now, based on this factor, they can be classified as renewable and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources are those which get renewed or replenished quickly and cannot be exhausted even by constant consumption. Some of these are available in unlimited quantities and are not affected by human activities such as solar and wind energy because they are powered by sun and wind. But there are certain renewable resources which we must use carefully like water, soil and forests. If we do not, then their stock or the amount of available resources for you will be affected. Water may seem like an unlimited renewable resources, but doesn't it so happen that 1 year of scanty rainfall and everything from farming, water supply in urban areas go for a toss, and also drying up of natural water resources is a major problem in many parts of the world facing today. The other category of natural resources is non-renewable resources which are available to us in a limited quantity, and once the stock exhausted, it may take thousands of years to be renewed or replenished. Since this period is much more than human lifespan, these resources are considered as non-renewable resources. Stocks of coal, petroleum, natural gas are some examples which once get exhausted will not be renewed for a very very long time, and hence they need to be used very carefully, and we also need to have alternative or substitute. The last factor based on which natural resources are grouped is their distribution. For example, some resources can be ubiquitous, which means they are present everywhere like air we breathe. On the other hand, some resources can be localized, which means they are found in a specific place or region like copper and iron ore. And the distribution of these natural resources depend on several factors like the terrain, meaning the land or ground, climate, hot or cold or moderate, altitude, which is the height at which the region is located above the sea level. Now, any of these physical factors could be favorable for some natural resources to exist, but this distribution of resources is quite uneven because all these factors are extremely varying all across the Earth's expanse. So that was all about the natural resource. Let us now head into the second category, which is the human-made resource. A while back, we discussed how iron ore is a natural resource, but it was not a resource until people learned to extract iron from it. And that is how it works. Sometimes natural substances become resources only when their original form has been changed by human to more useful form than the substance occurring in its natural form. For example, naturally occurring metals and ores are refined to construct buildings, bridges, roads, machineries, and vehicles, and these are man-made resource. Technology is also a human-made resource. Man has used his intelligence, knowledge to make magnificent advancement in the field of technology. Now, the third and the last class of resource is the human resource. The term human resource was referred to the number, that is quantity, and ability, which are mental and physical ability of the people. However, there are different views regarding the treatment of human as a resource, but we cannot deny the fact that it is the skill of human that help to transfer the physical material into a valuable resource, and people can also make the best use of nature to create more resource when they have the knowledge, skill, and technology to do so. That is why human beings are special resources, probably the greatest and the most valuable resource that a country has. People are human resource. Here, a question arises: how does human resource become valuable? Well, quality education coupled with good health make people a valuable resource. And with the passage of time, people keep learning new things, keep adding to their skill and knowledge, with the help of which they innovatively use the current resource as well as improve ones, and this is known as human resource development. This development is very necessary for a country to flourish. Now, take the example of farmers. We know how farmers are important to a country, especially to a country like India. So, what will happen if their crops are ruined due to drought or excessive rainfall resulting in flood? Obviously, human life will suffer due to insufficient food. The farmer will also suffer and economic will set back as there will be no produce to sell. But sometime education and knowledge come to rescue. For example, scientists could suggest various means to combat problems related to agriculture and also improve farm production. This was a small example of how human resource could be useful. People are interdependent and each contribute in their own way to make resource more valuable. Okay, we are almost nearing the finish line of this chapter. Let us learn something about conserving resources. Let's start with a little imagination. Imagine all of the water in the earth has dried up and all the trees have been cut down. So, there is no shade, no water, and no food to eat. People are suffering and roaming around, desperately looking for food, water, and shade. Well, that seems very depressing, isn't it? But do you think this can really happen? Well, yes, it can. If we are not smart and careful about our consumption of renewable resources, even they can become scarce, and our irresponsible uses can surely empty the stock of non renewable resource. But that is an unwelcome thought. So, what can we do to make better use of resource available to us? Well, using resource carefully and giving them enough time to get renewed is called resource conservation. And carefully using the available resource so that they are not only sufficient in the present but also for the future is called sustainable development. Now, there are many ways of conserving resources. You see, each person can contribute in their small way by reducing consumption, recycling, and reusing things. Now, this may seem like little thing to do, but when so many of us contribute to saving and conserving resource, it adds upon a lot. And I also have some principles of sustainable development that we can follow. First, respect and care for all form of life. Second, improve the quality of human life. Third, conserve the earth's vitality and diversity. Fourth, minimize the depletion of natural resource. Fifth, change the negligence attitude towards the environment and give up the harmful practice that harm our surrounding. And lastly, enable communities to care for their own environment. Also to be very careful not to waste paper. Do you know why? Because several trees are cut down to make paper. Also, save electricity as much as possible. Switch off the fan and light when you are leaving your room. After all, electricity comes from the precious resources like water and coal, and ensure that water is never wasted at our home. Do you know why I'm telling you this? Because future of our planet and its people is linked to our ability to maintain and preserve the life support system that nature provided us with. So, it is our duty to care for our planet. We need to ensure that renewable resources are used in a sustainable manner, the diversity of the life on the earth is conserved, and the damage to our environment is kept to a minimum. This little step which we take today could go a long way to ensure the better tomorrow. So never shy away from doing your bit for the planet and the resource found on this planet, which is your home also. With this, we have reached to the end of this chapter and the end of this video. But I will meet you soon with another new chapter. Till then, stay home, stay safe, and also take care. Thank you.